Welcome to another Digital Samba feature walkthrough. Today we'll be looking at Digital Samba 612. I am in the wonderful marina of Dubrovnik in Croatia, an incredible city. If you have not yet had the chance to check it out, I highly recommend it. If you can, do it off season. I'm here in May. It's absolutely wonderful. But of course, I'm not here to talk about Dubrovnik. We are here to look at Digital Samba 612. So if you have a few minutes, come and join me. I've got a nice spot picked out for us in the shade. We'll have a veliki macchiato together and let's get stuck right in. Cool. So let's check out Digital Samba 612. Okay, great. So Digital Samba 612 is available from 1st of May 2025. There's a few key features I want to run through with you. One of them is a new option to allow audio-only broadcast rather than allowing video and audio after a hand raise, which is super important for some use cases. We also have an option to choose your default library, whether you want that to be room files or my files, and I promise this will make perfect sense once I show it to you. So then we've got this other great new option which allows you to remove participants from a role with a single click, which again, when you're managing webinars, makes a lot of sense. And a couple of other small things which we'll get through as well. So let's get stuck in and check out how the hand raise feature works. So I've got a session set up here with two users, Phil, who's an attendee, and myself as a moderator. Now let's switch over to Phil's view, and let's say that Phil raised his hand. He's going to raise his hand because he wants to ask a question. So on the moderator side, what we see is that Phil raised his hand, and under the Allow Broadcast button, which previously would simply allow the user to start broadcasting with their camera and microphone, I now have two options, and I can select Allow Audio Only Broadcast. And on Phil's side, rather than being presented with options to turn on his microphone and his camera, he now only has options for audio, which is exactly how you would expect it to work. So if Phil were to start broadcasting, he would not join the session. I'm going to cancel it for this demo, and we'll see that it's also very clearly demonstrated that Phil has broadcast audio permission. So while he has this permission, he'll be able to start his broadcast at any time. If I wanted to revoke this permission, I simply click over here and disallow broadcast with audio only, and now Phil no longer has the chance to broadcast. So those are the new audio-only broadcast permissions within Digital Samba 612. Next, we'll be looking at the room files versus my files default library option. So for this to be demonstrated, I'm going to pop over into my dashboard and I'm going to create a new room. And we're going to call this library demo. And we'll go down into the content library. And now I can choose whether I want the default library to be room files or my files. I will check my files, and as always, you can select any library you want to attach to this particular room. I'm going to choose my main library over here. So I'll create this room. And now, as you know, for the My Files tab to show, I first have to pass in a UD. So I'm going to move over into tokens. We're going to set this up for the library demo room, right? That was the one we just created. And I'm going to pass in a unique identifier. Let's just call it Rob1. And if I now copy this token, copy the room URL and join this session over here, say Rob1, and we will join myself in this same demo room. I'm going to turn off my camera and microphone for a second. And now when we open the content library, you will see that My Files is selected by default, and the room files option is sitting over here on the left-hand side with all the content that we connected to it by choosing the main library. All right, and that's a content library. So next, let's check out the Remove Participants option. I'm going to go back into my room, and as you can see, Ted has joined us as well now. So all I need to do if I want to remove both Phil and Ted, which previously I had to do individually, I can now simply click over here, remove participants, remove, and we're alone, and wonderful. And the webinar has ended, and if we still had a couple of other moderators in the session and wanted to do some post-session chat, then that would be the way to do it. So that's the new Remove Participants option. So now let's have a look what else we have. I think one really important thing is that we shortened the reconnection time after a connection failure, so it's much more snappy if you say have a little Wi-Fi glitch to get back into a session. Yeah, there's some under the hood logic here to support the My Files and Room Files option depending on how you might enter the session. There's some nuanced ways, and this is all handled beautifully. We have added support for the mute button through mobile browsers on all devices. So as you may know, Digital Samba has a button that you can configure in dashboard, which allows you to choose to turn off all sounds. That now works on mobile too. And this was a little pet peeve of my own. So if we go into one of these sessions and I invite participants, this copy link is now blue instead of black. So super important, and that's done too now. And that's it. Yeah, a couple of bug fixes. Cool. So that's Digital Samba 612. If you thought this was interesting, please subscribe, give us a like. As you know, it helps build the channel. I'm sure you'll be one of the very, very first to do so. And I look forward to seeing you again in 2 weeks. Not sure from where yet. Let's find out then.